Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. And those of you online, welcome. We're glad you're with us here this morning as well. Thank you for coming on this beautiful October day. I am Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. I am the community spiritual leader here at Golden Gate. And the way that we begin, Frank Lang. You are here. Well, we are very glad to see you. We thought that you wouldn't be here for a while. Yay, good for you, good for you. Welcome back. So the way that we begin is by welcoming one another. One of the things that is of value here is community. It's one of our highest values, which means that we want to connect with each other. So please take a moment to walk around and say hi to people. Introduce yourself to those you don't know. Welcome people like Frank back that you haven't seen in a while. And just generally make one another welcome. For those of you at home, take this moment also to go ahead and make yourself welcome. We see you. We know you. We're glad that you're here. In just a moment, everybody will be back to sing the opening song. So pour yourself another cup of coffee and then come right back and join us. I just love watching all of you run around saying good morning to each other because there's so much warmth and love in the connections as you're chatting with each other, as you're greeting each other, as you're introducing yourselves to people. It's almost like it's hard to pull you back to your places, and it's such a wonderful thing, actually, to see that loving energy of greeting and welcoming going on. So thanks for that. Good job. This morning we have Gary Lynn Floyd doing music for us again. I just love him because he's such a heart-centered guy. And Gary, of course, as you know, is the artist in residence at the Reno Center for Spiritual Living. But he travels around a lot and does retreats and workshops and stuff like that. So all of his information is at GaryLynnFloyd.com if you want to find out more about him or his schedule or his music. And he's doing a new song with us this morning, but it's not difficult. So please stand now and join us for One in the One in the One.
Good morning, Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Gary Lynn Floyd back with you this morning. I just got back from a wonderful trip to Bali in September. I got a brand new chant for you this morning. It goes like this. It's called One in the One. We start out chanting that. It goes like this. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. Sing it with me. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day has begun. Until we return to the sun, we are one in the one. Sing that again. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day, the dawn of a new day has begun. Until we return to the sun, we are one in the one. Now chant with me again. Here we go. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. one in the one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day has begun until we return to the sun. We are one in the one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day has begun until we return to the sun. We are one in the one. Third part is easy. It goes like this. One in the one, in the one. Sing that again. One in the one, in the one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day has begun until we return to the sun. We are one in the one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day has begun until we return to the sun. We are one in the one. Then we end it chanting like we began. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. Oh, you sound awesome. Thank you.
You may be seated. You can clap. That's good. Give yourselves a hand. That's a brand new song. Yeah, it's hard sometimes to sing a brand new song. I had a music director that used to write music who told us when we were in the choir and we were learning a new song, you'll have to articulate this, the words of this song very carefully when you sing it the first time with the congregation, because this song has never been given voice in the universe before, and it will be a little harder for them to hear all of it. And I always think that's fascinating when a new song comes up, that it's, you know, we're stumbling over it because it hasn't been given voice in the universe in quite this way before. So good job, everybody. Thank you. And now is the time to go ahead and silence your cell phones. We want to take this time now to begin to turn within to get centered for the service. Part of coming in and saying good morning and singing together is about bringing ourselves present as a group, not just a bunch of individual spectators, but actually a group of participants together. So we join our voices, and that brings our energy together as one. Then we turn within in that unity consciousness. So Reverend Judith Fleener is going to come up now to give us our opening prayer, and I invite you to just sink into that as she prays.
Blessed, blessed ones, we are the one in the one in the one. The wholeness of the divine is the breath of life. The breath of life is the wholeness of the divine. As we breathe, we are one, and that oneness is holy. And so knowing that there is no division between myself and the one that is breathing me, I am breathing too. And in this space of delight, I just claim for this time here together a wonderful opening of remembering who we are, and that in all that we do, we are interconnected, intertwined, and always in the right place at the right time. And so I'm claiming a shift in consciousness that can arise out of this truth of knowing, allowing for a healing of heart, a settling of mind, a clarity of direction, and a remembering to have a servant's heart and being present in each moment. That this opening creates a shift in the mind and the soul of each being, allowing for them to just be immersed in the goodness of life and the goodness of where we are in each moment in that life, knowing that there are shifts that come and shifts that go, but in the end, the centeredness, the groundedness, the divinity of the one holy one never leaves. And so in that presence, I just claim that we have an exuberant time today of connection and uplifting and joy together as we listen to the music and we listen to the talk and we look at the decorations around us and notice that somehow that interconnected part of our beings knew what we should wear today to blend in, seeing all the purple and the pinks in the room today. And so I just give great thanks for this exuberant time of joy, uplifting, and healing that we are embarking on now. And I let it be, and so it is.
Thanks, Judy.
Open your mind and unfold your heart. Relax your senses and feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Yeah. Breathe every breath. Yeah. Release your cringe. Love without waiting, without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. Yeah. It's already who we are. So lift up your voice. Lift it up now, now, and let it be heard. Let it be heard. And tell me your story. Tell it to me. And don't leave out a word. Not a word, no. 'cause I think I have been there too. I'm a seeker just like you, and you ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here, so take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Lay it all down, down, down. Lay it all down. Unbound. Open your mind and unfold your heart. Yeah.
A grand rising. Gosh, well, how many things would have to change for us to feel that we were making a grand rising? Maybe nothing at all. Maybe it isn't like everything would need to change. Maybe it's a decision in a moment. Choose to rise now. Why not? Choose to rise now. So if we are rising together in a grand upliftment of consciousness, starting right here in this room, our theme for this month throughout all of Centers for Spiritual Living is power to the people, the recognition of the power within us, not just in our voting, although that certainly is the time that we're in right now, moving into the election and the pre-voting that's taking place, or the voting, whatever you want to call it, that's taking place in advance voting. All of that freedom that we have, that power that we have, we want to actually make use of that. It's not very useful to have power that just sort of sits there dormant, but we really want to take it and use it. So this month I've been talking about that power that is within us. And today I'm going to talk about the idea of blooming where you're planted. Yes, ladies with flowers for heads, blooming where you're planted. Now, the caveat I want to put into that is that it does not mean that if things are difficult where you are, or if relationships are inappropriate, that we can't make changes. It doesn't mean that. But what it means is that wherever we are at any given moment, there's a reason for us to be there. There's a usefulness to that moment for us and for wherever we are. Now, oftentimes when I start off, I tell you some kind of a joke, or I read some kind of a joke to begin with. But today, instead of doing that, I'm going to read you a little story from Robert Fulghum's book, All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. I've loved this book for a long time. Occasionally I share stories from it. Giants, Wizards, and Dwarves was the game to play. Being left in charge of about 80 children, 7 to 10 years old, while their parents were off doing parenty things, I mustered my troops in the church social hall and explained the game. It's a large-scale version of rock, paper, scissors, and involves some intellectual decision-making. But the real purpose of the game is to make a lot of noise and run around chasing people until nobody knows which side you're on or who won. Organizing a room full of wired-up grade schoolers into 2 teams, explaining the rudiments of the game, achieving consensus on group identity, all this was no mean accomplishment, but we did it with the right goodwill and were ready to go. The excitement of the chase had reached a critical mass, and I yelled out, "You have to decide now which you are, a giant, a wizard, or a dwarf." And while groups huddled in frenzied, whispered consultation, a tug came at my pants leg. A small child stands there looking up and asks in a small, concerned voice, "Where do the mermaids stand?" Where do the mermaids stand? A long pause. A very long pause. Where do the mermaids stand? Says I. Yes. You see, I am a mermaid. There are no such things as mermaids. Oh, yes, I am one. She did not relate to being a giant, a wizard, or a dwarf. She knew her category, mermaid, and was not about to leave the game and go over and stand against the wall where a loser would stand. She intended to participate wherever mermaids fit into the scheme of things. Without giving up dignity or identity, she took it for granted that there was a place for mermaids and that I would know just where. Well, where do the mermaids stand? All the mermaids, all those who are different, who do not fit the norm, who do not accept the available boxes and pigeonholes. Answer that question and you can build a school, a nation, or a world on it. What was my answer in the moment? Every once in a while I say the right thing. The mermaid stands right here by the king of the sea, I said. Yes, right here by the king's fool, I thought to myself. And so we stood there hand in hand, reviewing the troops of wizards and giants and dwarves as they roiled by in wild disarray. It is not true, by the way, that mermaids do not exist. I know at least one personally. I have held her hand. We may not feel like we belong where we've landed. We may feel like we've been transplanted from a foreign planet into our family sometimes. We may feel like amongst our friends, we're the odd one. I can remember being in college. My boyfriend at the time told me that he and his roommate had heard a statistic that 2 out of 3 people are weird, or 1 out of 3 people are weird, or something like that. And so they talked about every one of their friends, and they assumed that of the 2 out of 3, it was each one of those friends that were weird, not them. However, my boyfriend said secretly they both believed the other one was weird anyway. What about when we are the odd one? There are always times when we feel like the odd one. We think, I feel this way, but everybody else is at ease. Everybody else is comfortable. Everybody else has X, fill in the blank. This was kind of how my mom felt in the world. Second oldest of 8 kids, the only one who wasn't married, the only one who had no children at age 40. She finally married my dad. That late in her life, all of her brothers and sisters had kids that were in the process of, getting a little older, except for my mom. And then, of course, my dad died after they'd been married for 6 years. So she was always the odd one out, older than everybody else's parents, right? A widow on her own, raising a child that everybody thought was her grandchild because she was older than me by that much. The odd one out, and believe me, she felt it. Well, every one of us feels that. We feel that at different times. We feel like we're the odd one out. And if we could move our consciousness temporarily to somebody else's body and experience, we'd find that they feel that way too, about something, about some situation or some group, or about themselves somewhere. Can you relate to this? Everybody feels like the odd one at times. And maybe that's a good thing, because it allows us to develop a kind of empathy for those that we see as the odd one. So if we're really not in the wrong place, even though we feel out of place, then what is it exactly that we have to offer in that situation? Why are we there? There's an affirmation that I learned a long time ago. I'm always in the right place at the right time with the right people for the right reason, doing the right thing. And that is a big thing to assume when we feel really awkward and out of place. Like, okay, this is a good place for me to be right now, but why? This is where I'm supposed to be, but how do I fit in? When I was in high school, I felt like my job was to be one of everybody else, really. That's what I wanted. You know, Amanda says that she wanted to be unique and stand out, be her own person, not just one of the crowd. But that wasn't me. I desperately wanted to fit in because I felt so odd, right? Here I was with one parent who was too old, who didn't drive, and here I was, this one little kid with no father. I felt odd, so I wanted to be part of. I wanted to feel like I fit in, yeah? So I wore the bell-bottom blue jeans, and I had my hair the same as everybody else that I grew up with, all those girls with their long hair parted in the middle, hanging down. That was me. You know, let me be one like everybody else. Let me fit in with them. Sometimes fitting in is the booby prize, because if we are there for a reason, if we have something to give, then it isn't like everybody else's something to give, or we wouldn't be there. I like to tell people that, and I've told students this for years, that I believe that we come here into this life with a lesson to learn, at least one, and a gift to give, at least one. And the best way to learn the lesson is to give the gift. Get engaged in what it is that we're here for, who we are, exactly as we are. Bring that forward, even sometimes when it's a risk. Bring that forward because it might be exactly what's needed. Even if it isn't comfortable, it might be exactly what's needed. Ernest Holmes said, by merging mentally and spiritually into the consciousness that there is good enough to go around, we shall overcome the fear of want. And we shall overcome want at the same time, because they're one and the same thing. The thought and the image are but two different sides of the same thing. When we feel like we're out of place, we're missing something that would allow us to fit in. If we were to assume that this is okay, the way it is, this awkward feeling is okay. The fact that I don't know what to do or say exactly in this moment is okay. I'm still useful here for some reason. So I'll just bring what I can and do what I can and stumble around without knowing what I'm doing and let it be enough because I showed up. And maybe that's all I was required to do in that moment, was to just be fully present in the here and now. Rebecca Wells, who wrote The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, she said, as a writer, I am not the goddess of the universe I create. I am at most a stage manager of the plentiful gifts which tumble out of the horn of plenty, which is to say, there is a source so sweet and so forgiving and so generous that I pray every day to let that source be my guide. The ideas that pour forth when she's writing, she didn't make them up. They showed up and came through some which way. I think it was Toscanini who said that or maybe it was Puccini, the composer, who said that he wasn't the source, but he was inspired from on high. It came through him. Mozart said he was writing down, taking dictation as fast as he could. People who experience the inspiration feel that impulsion to express it somehow, whether it's words or music or dance steps or cooking for the family or gardening out in the yard or doing landscaping or coding something, creating a new game, creating a new character, whatever it is that we're engaged in, we have to figure out our way to do it from here to there. You know, if you're making a cake, even when you're following a recipe, there are moments when you have to improvise. Maybe you forgot to preheat the oven. Okay, now what? Maybe you left out something and you remember it when you're just about ready to pour everything into the bowl. Okay, how can you compensate for that? So the universe will always give us opportunities to be creative, even if we didn't want them, and we were trying to follow all the rules step by step and do what was laid out for us, the universe will poke at us and invite us to bring forward something else, to take a risk, to step into the unknown. Now, I think that all of us in this room are already aware of that, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't somebody who actually stepped forward to take a risk. You know, we've been around for over 100 years, and still people have never heard of us. To show up in a place with this unusual name and decide that you're going to participate and stay, that's a weird thing to do. The first time I walked into a Science of Mind church in Seattle in 1978, I was still a kind of Catholic, not exactly anymore, but kind of sort of, and I was thinking that I still had it in my mind that here it was Sunday, and I wasn't at Mass. I was instead in this Protestant, maybe, church. I wasn't quite sure what it was, and was it a sin for me to be here listening to these messages? And then that minister said things that I never expected to hear in a church. Not that he was saying anything that was off color or anything like that. He was saying things that I believed were true, but I never expected to hear it in church, because they were not the things that were lined out as exactly, this is what's true. Don't go beyond this. No, we don't believe that. And I was so intrigued that I never stopped going, basically. I pretty much am still doing it. This weird thing. Except now I'm doing it from up here, which is even weirder. So those of us that enter into something unusual spiritually, something unusual in our work life, in our profession, in our relationships, when we do that, we're taking a risk, because we're stepping out of the mainstream to do that. And I don't think there's any healthy person who doesn't spend part of their time outside the mainstream, if not all of it, kind of discovering themselves. We used to say we were finding ourselves. That's why they called us the me generation. Oh, everything is always all about them. Now, the people that are younger than us look and say, okay, boomer, you know, recognizing that we think we're all that and a piece of cake just because there's more of us. Well, now I have a grown son who is, oh my God, middle-aged. How did that happen? I'm middle-aged. Something has shifted. I'm no longer part of this Pepsi generation of young people that are, you know, making such a big impact on everything. Now I'm one of the old people who's been around all this time and still am not finished. You know, I thought when I found Science of Mind that I had it. I had found the answer, and pretty soon I was going to be finished. I was going to be assembled. I was going to be able to live the rest of my life knowing, and coming from that certainty of knowing and having it figured out, and then spend my life, you know, being in that place. Nope. Any of you out there, have you arrived? Give me a wave if you've arrived. Those of you at home, give me a wave if you've arrived. You know, we're still on the way. We're still striving, we're still learning, we're still getting there. My son said to me recently, now at age 44, that he recognizes that he doesn't know anything. He said, you know, there was a time in my life that I thought I knew a lot. Now I recognize I hardly know anything. His son is 17, he knows everything. This is how it goes. When I was 19, I knew everything. I knew what everybody should do. I knew the right answer for stuff. It wasn't that I felt finished and confident. I was just sure of what I knew. Now, not so sure. I know a lot, but do I really? You know, there's the question. What do we know? Deepak Chopra says, life gives you plenty of time to do whatever you want to do if you stay in the present moment. Not great at that, staying in the present moment. How about you? I have a tendency to ruminate over things that have happened or consider how to be in control of things that might happen or what to do about those things. You know, Ernest Holmes, and I can't remember the exact quote, he asks questions about why do we do this as human beings? Why do we get all lost in the weeds and worried about this, that, and the other and stressed out when really the truth is, as Judith was saying in her prayer this morning, we are that presence of love already. As Gary was singing in his song, we have nothing to fear. Where do we think we're going to go? What do we think is going to happen to us? No matter what it is, no matter what happens to us, of the best and the worst that could possibly happen, our spirit is still there, still undamaged, still whole, still perfect, still complete. So why not take the risk to give our gift, to actually unfold and come unwound and unbound, as his song said, to be fully ourselves and to be fully available as ourselves, even though that makes us vulnerable, because it's a lot more fun. Yes, it can be a little bit scary sometimes when we don't know quite how the reaction will be to however we're being, but it's more fun to be that than to be careful all the time. I find being careful all the time dull, boring, annoying even. So look at this room. Came in this morning to discover bats, red skeletons, giant spider in the spider webs, ghosts hanging from the wall, this scary dude looking out at me from a hat. All of Halloween is showing up. And you know what? Halloween predates all the religious tradition that we're used to practicing in the United States. Oh, it far predates science of mind. It predates Protestantism and Christianity. It predates all of it. It goes all the way back to the British Isles when they were carving not pumpkins but turnips. When they were going around to doors in costumes. When they were walking in the thin places where those that had passed on might be around during that time of year. And those traditions got carried over to different parts of the world where people came from the Celtic Isles. And so here we are, surrounded by spiders and ghosts and bats and spider webs and pumpkins. And I love this time of year. It's so much fun to walk around and see what people have done. We have a house in our neighborhood we call the Halloween house. It blooms where it's planted. Now, they decorate for every holiday, but Halloween is out of this world. There are gravestones with things coming up out of the ground. There are skeletons, there are bats, there are ghosts, there are zombies, there are, you name it, they're all there. Why do you think we go to horror movies? There's something about getting scared to death and still being alive that somehow exhilarates us. Now, I don't watch those anymore because my suspension of disbelief is a little too good. But there's a reason to create those kind of scary things, because what happens with the scary things is that in the stories, they get overcome eventually, one way or another, even if it's at the end of a long series of repeating movies. The bad guys go away. It's like adult fairy tales. We need a happy ending to remind us that we can get through the scary stuff in our life. That's what those scary things are about, to show us the scariest thing, to knock us on the floor, and then have us know, but the good guys win in the end. Because we need that so that we can face our own smaller fears in life. It reminds us of our ability to outlast and overcome that kind of stuff. Angie Sullins wrote, "The next time you refuse to sing because you'll never fill a stadium, or decline the joy of dance for fear of looking ridiculous, or resist risking the new adventure because you're not entirely ready, or you dim your shine because you're not completely healed and whole, the next time you hold yourself suspect because you're not entirely qualified, just remember, a bird doesn't sing because it's talented. A bird sings because it has a song. The moon doesn't only shine when it's whole. It can show up with a single sliver of light and still light an entire night sky. Show up, sing, shine. The world needs you as you are. We don't have to be perfect before we get there. We can get there in lots of little destinations along the way. And we can bring forward the imperfect that we have to offer and let it be enough. Alice Walker said once, you don't always have to be doing something. You can just be, and that's plenty. Sometimes your presence is enough. People have told me over the years that they are nervous about going to see someone who's very ill, somebody that they know is getting ready to make their transition, because they don't know what to say. So it's not important what you say. It's just important that you're there. You don't have to say anything. You can say, I'm so sorry to see you're going through this. You can say, are you okay? Do you want to talk? We can just listen. We can come and pray with them. We can bring them a funny story. I heard a story about Robin Williams the other day. And I've heard this kind of story about him more than once. When Sharon Osbourne was suffering with cancer, she had been going through chemotherapy and she was feeling so exhausted and so discouraged and so burnt out that she was kind of done. She was just kind of done. And then Robin Williams showed up at their house. And in the space of the time that he visited, the entire family had tears rolling down their cheeks. They were laughing so hard, falling out of their chairs laughing. And by the time he left, her energy and her stamina had been rejuvenated. It wasn't that he said something wise. He probably said something wise-ass, knowing Robin Williams. He instead drew their attention to other things. It wasn't that he avoided what was going on with her. Sometimes he actively, I'm sure, knowing him, addressed it in some kind of irreverent way that made it funny. He said once when Christopher Reeve was in his wheelchair, because he had this sip and blow thing that he used to be able to breathe and speak, and Robin said, I was afraid if I made him laugh too hard, he'd snort and blow himself out the window. Just showing up with yourself is enough. We don't have to be more than that. You don't have to say something wise and brilliant to another person when they're in pain. You don't have to make them stop crying so you'll be comfortable. Just be there. Be a presence of love. Just be a presence of love. That's blooming where we're planted, and it's enough. It's enough. We don't have to be more than that. So when we come with our lesson to learn and our gift to give, then it doesn't matter which direction we choose to go, it'll be the right one. And if it needs to wind us back to get us back on track, then it will be purposeful, because being off track will have given us something that we needed in order to be better equipped when we're on track. Does that make sense? I often call these cosmic left turns and divine rewrites. They show up when you least expect them. They're inconvenient. They seem to be dragging you off target, but there's a reason. There's a reason for that detour, for that little sidebar that happened, for us to actually inhabit it and gain something from it. Or even if we go on and we think we haven't gained anything from it, looking back and realizing we didn't gain anything from that can become the lesson in the moment. Like, why wasn't I at that time open to receive that? And what do I know about that now that I can take forward from here, even though I didn't do it then? That's always available. Napoleon Hill said, it's literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed. Amazing, isn't it? That we don't have to work so hard all the time to get there to do the right thing. All we have to do is be willing to be of help or support in the moment. And it doesn't have to be huge. Just showing up sometimes is enough. We don't have to wait to be ready or to wait for somebody else to start. We can become and be what wants to be brought in that moment. You know, when we are in a situation where we don't feel comfortable, we feel something is off. Maybe we just need to say, this feels strange to me. Does this feel strange to you? I feel like we should be saying something about this, or we should do something about that, or maybe it's just me who should, and I just needed to say it. Does this make sense? I know you've found yourself in these situations. Don't look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about. I know. We've all been in that situation. We've all been there. So we want to recognize that we are here now. We are here now, so we might as well make it count. It's not a mistake that we're here. We are here for a reason, and kindness is always available. Even when we're in a hurry, a moment of kindness is always available. As Jewel sang, in the end, only kindness matters. Or as the Beatles said, in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make, to the love that we give out. It's important for us to know that we can spread that around where we are right now. I want to share one other little story with you from my pal here, Robert Fulgham, who lived in Seattle actually, told this little story, which I find very amusing. He said, lawyer friend made his annual summer visit last week up from California, traveling with two 18-year-old girls and a small boa constrictor in an anemic VW van with peace, love, and light written on the side. The inside of the bus was decorated like the set for Alice in Wonderland. He's 47. Wife, 4 kids, house in the Berkeley Hills, job in the city with a big firm, the whole catastrophe. I keep up with him because he's always a little ahead of the times. He's taken all the trips, and I do mean all the trips. A walking sociological experiment of the 60s and 70s in American culture. Obviously, he's not in his 40s now. That's when this was written. Civil rights, Vietnam, hip, TA, TM, vegetarian, Zen, massage, LSD, palmistry, 10 brands of yoga, macrame, psychoanalysis, backpacking, hot tubs, nudism, crystals, more religious movements than you can name, and vitamins. He's got all the equipment. Blenders and pipes and grinders and bikes and jogging outfits and oils and unguents and grow lights. The works. This year, he's into simple ignorance. It's all crap, he says. All lies. Your census lies to you, the president lies to you. The more you search, the less you find. The more you try, the worse it gets. Ignorance is bliss. Just be, man. Don't think or do, just be. The world is coming to an end. The day before he left, he jumped off a lakeside dock with his clothes on to help a kid who appeared to be in danger of drowning in the deep water. And he confessed to being in town for the National Lawyers Guild convention, since he's a member of its Social Justice Committee. So if it's all lies and crap and ignorance is the ultimate trip, then how come, I say, well, he says, I might be wrong. Pieces of sanity are found washed ashore on all kinds of beaches these days. And skepticism and realism are not the same as cynicism and pessimism. I mention it because it seems like a good bumper sticker. I may be wrong. Could it be that we're in the right place at the right time, doing the right things with the right people for all the right reasons, even when we don't get it? We have a particular power that the universe wants us to give, and no one can give it exactly the way we do. And when we give it, when we use it, we learn stuff. We learn stuff about ourselves and about the universe and about what we don't know yet. And that is good. Because if we were finished, there would be no need to be here. It would be dull. But we're here because we're not finished yet, so we might as well jump in the pool and see what stroke we want to try today. Let's bloom right here where we're planted. Namaste. Now let's take a moment and anchor this within. So as we turn within, recognizing that God is all there is, there's really nothing else for us to become. We are that one. We are one individual in this one community within the one that is all that is. One in the one in the one. That's who we are. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to be, but right here, right now, there is a huge blossom waiting to come forth through us. There is a huge gift the universe needs, and it's waiting for us to give it. And we have within us at this moment now everything we need to do that. We were equipped from the beginning of time with everything that we need to be and do and express what the universe has need of from us in this moment. And it might just be to be here now. So we breathe into this moment. We breathe into this place, this community, these people, right here, right now, exactly as we are, and we call it good and very good. Whole, complete, and perfect in its uniqueness and imperfection. This is a miracle of goodness, and we are it. We are grateful for all that we are and all that we're becoming and all that is yet to be revealed, knowing that it is all right here, right now, exactly right. And so are we. So we let this prayer go into the law to do its work. We let it go in trust and faith, knowing the law knows what to do. And what we do is let it go, let it be, let ourselves be with gratitude. And together we say, and so it is. Yes. Please stand and join me for the morning affirmation. As we say together now, when I feel helpless with the world's challenges, I remember that I am always exactly where I'm supposed to be. I do what I'm called to do right here. The difference I can make is within me already, and it is enough. I can take the next step that is mine to take. That's enough for now, and so it is. You may be seated. This is our sacred giving time. There is something about recognizing the power of what we give, no matter the amount. So if you're at home and you want to make a contribution to Golden Gate, please go ahead and text your offering to the number on the screen. Just text the dollar amount to that number and then follow the directions. It's pretty easy. We would love that, but we're grateful that you're here no matter what. And the same for all of us in this room. If you're here, your presence here is the first gift. So we're blessing that as well. Now I ask you to put your hands over your heart as we bless ourselves, and hold your gift right there as well. If you're giving financially today, hold it right there. If you've given something else to Golden Gate this week, financially or otherwise, imagine that you're holding that right there at your heart. We bless this all. You at home do the same thing now. We bless this by saying together, this gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. Now, ushers, would you stand up here? And I want all of you to look up here at the ushers. Now, these folks who are doing the Sunday ushing today, they are God in service to all of us to receive this offering. And so we send this part of God out to this part of God to receive the overflow that God is bringing forth this morning. So we do that now with love.
O great Spirit of love, giving freely, refusing none. O great Spirit of love, eternal goodness flows like a flood. Love is all is love. Join us in singing the music of one in all in one. No greater blessing neath moon or sun. O great Spirit of love, giving freely, refusing none. O great Spirit of love, eternal goodness flows like a flood. Love is all is love. Join us in singing the music of one in all in one. No greater blessing neath moon or sun. Love is all is love. Join us in singing the music of one in all in one. No greater blessing neath moon or sun. No greater blessing, O great Spirit. No greater blessing, O great Spirit. No greater blessing.
So all of us in this room now, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, accept this offering and send it out into the world to assist people to bloom right where they are. And so it is. For those of you who may be here for the first time, at this table behind this section, we have all sorts of goodies to be picked up. information and so on for those who are new here or for those who are old here, either way. And we also have welcome packets. Please pick up one of those welcome packets and fill out the blue card that's inside. Give it to Galen, and she's going to give you a little book, Nourishing Thoughts, which is our thank you gift to you for being here this morning, and also our invitation for you to come back and be with us. And for those of you online, come visit us and get one of these. We'd love to have you here. Northern California, that's where you want to be. Also, I want to thank everyone who participated, and big kudos to the community center for all the goodies that are up everywhere. They have added to our preparation for Halloween in a most wonderful way. Do come up and see the Frost family's altar. It's quite impressive today. We're celebrating Halloween for the rest of this month, of course, and enjoying everything that they have up there this morning. So let's thank everybody for their contributions today. Oh, and I should have commented on the pink lights in the fire that are supposed to be, I think, they keep changing color, but I think that's supposed to be embers in there. Also, next Sunday, there are a couple of women I met a few months ago who had done book signings at Book Passage and were recommended to us because their presentations were about mysticism. Both of these women are people who, along their path of life, had a mystical awakening that changed everything for them. So next Sunday, at the church office at our learning center, on Irwin Street downtown in San Rafael, they're going to give a 2-hour presentation where they're going to tell their stories about what happened and invite us into that understanding of what it's like to have that change your life and to be living from that place. If that goes over really well, then they may do a workshop, not next Sunday, but in the future. So if you think that you are going to attend and hear their presentation next week, please sign up on the back table. It is a love offering, but that'll reserve your place. And also let us know if our space is going to be big enough or if we're going to need more space. And it should be really interesting to hear them tell the long version of their story, which their books go into detail about, but you'll hear all about it next week. You know this announcement. You probably got it memorized, but we're going to hear it one more time.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Karen Drucker.
I'm Gary Lynn Floyd.
And we are doing a women's retreat together. Yes, it's a women's retreat.
Featuring one dude.
Yes, one dude.
That'd be me.
That'll be him. And we're going to be doing music and just a group process and laughter and great food and walks in nature and all this kind of stuff. And it's going to be at the Nanda Retreat Center. Where is that, Gary?
It is in
Nevada City. And that's, where is that? About 2 hours outside of Sacramento, about an hour and a half
outside of Reno. It's right in the middle.
Easy to get to. And it's going to be October 25th through the 27th.
Next
but
weekend.
Wait, there's more.
If you'd like to begin your retreat a day early, we're going to have a concert on the 24th in Grass Valley at the Unity of the Gold Country.
There you go. And we're doing that as a little optional thing if you want to come in early, and then you could have, massages at Ananda Village and take walks in nature that day, but then we'll start on Friday night. So this is Friday, October 25th through Sunday the 27th, and it's going to be a small, intimate group, so if you're interested, register early. And what else do I want to say?
I just want to say I did this retreat last year, and it was a phenomenal experience to be the only dude in a retreat of women.
Yes.
I can't wait for this time. It's going to be wonderful.
Lots of music, lots of music. You don't have to know our songs, just come and sing with an open heart. You will be transformed and you will have a faith lift by the time you're done.
Oh, nice.
So we hope we see you.
We love you.
All right. That's coming up next weekend. By the way, if you haven't been to Ananda Village, it's really wonderful, really beautiful place. We do have a few slots still left for our November service at the food bank. Talk to Ellen Nicosia, who's right here in the front tonight, this morning, whatever time period is, wherever we are, wherever I am. And that is coming up on Tuesday, November 12th. So you have until November 5th to get your information to Ellen. She needs to have all of your contact info because that has to be reported to the food bank so they know who's coming and how many people to plan for. And it's only 2 hours, Tuesday, November 12th. So let Ellen know if you want to be on the team for that this month. There are a couple slots still open. Also, we have slots open for healthy snacks. If you ever come in here on a Sunday and there's nothing to eat, maybe it's your turn to sign up on the snack list. We do, everybody participates once a month who signs up for your particular Sunday of that month, the second Sunday or the fourth Sunday or whatever. And then you won't be the only one. People bring snacks, and everybody enjoys that after the service. Be sure you stay and enjoy snacks so that you get an appreciation for that as well. Also, I want to remind you when you come in, just imagine the keyboard is here with our wonderful new music director, because we are moving in that direction. We don't know yet exactly when that person is going to land here, but we know that is in process. So that's something to be enthused about. Also, I want to let you know that the first Sunday in November is the day that we return to standard time. If you do not set your clock back, you will be here early. We would love that because we can put you to work, but you might want an extra hour of sleep. So overnight on that Saturday night before the first Sunday of November, make sure that you set your clock back so you get that extra hour. Otherwise, we'll just welcome you early when you get here. Now, we're offering one new thing in the prayer request department. You all know about the prayer box on the table and the Sunday practitioners. Today, Karen and Selma are there to pray with you after the service. You go, stand over there at the table. They'll take you back here to a private area and do prayer for you. But sometimes people can't make it on a Sunday or various things are going on. So you can sign up to have a practitioner call you to do a short treatment like these on the phone, if you would like that. And you sign up over here at the practitioner table for those if you would like to do that. Otherwise, you can put your prayer request in the box or make a prayer request through our website online. All right. So now I'd like the practitioners to surround the room as we prepare to do our closing prayer. And let's know, as we are one in the one, in the one. Let's close our eyes together and just feel that for a moment, that community of oneness. Breathe in the love and the light. Breathe out peace and forgiveness. And breathe in peace and forgiveness. And breathe out love and light. Now let ourselves receive the love and the light and the peace and the forgiveness, and to know that we dwell in that we breathe it in and out, we share it with one another, we are made of it, and nothing changes that. The love, the light, the peace, and the forgiveness are the essence of our own nature. They are actively taking place in us now to empower and enable us to use the truth that we know within us to bring forth the great good that is ours to contribute to the world right where we are. We're grateful to remember it and to carry it out into this week, and let ourselves be reminded of it often, that we can bloom right where we are right now. We're grateful that this is true. We don't need to be any more than this. So we let this prayer go and this morning with love, and so it is. All right, stand and join us now for the closing blessing and song.
I have loved our time together again
Gary,
this morning.
not yet. Sorry,
forward.
pushed the button too soon. Okay, prayer request and closing blessing, which we are going to say together right now. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. Now he's going to sing, and we know this song.
I have loved our time together again this morning. I look forward to next time. Until that time, take care of yourselves. I send you this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, Spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, make good flow to you, and let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Yeah. All together, hand in hand, we see the light and take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free. Share this blessing. Love be with you. Peace enfold you. Spirit lift you. Breathe it in. Truth come through you. Make good flow to you. Let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 love be with you. I love you. See you soon.